Hello, and welcome to my new series that I'm just getting ready to start. It's one I've been anticipating and trying to get going for a few weeks now. I'm going to call it Resurrection Ranch 1935. We're going to take a trip back in time. Give me a second here. I just got my horse out. I'm going to close the gate here so the others don't get away. Okay. All right. Let's get on the horse. Okay, folks, this is the new series, and we're going back in time to 1935. And this is the story of my family's third generation cattle ranch. We are in the foothills of the Ozark Mountains in the area of eastern Arkansas. My grandpa was My grandpa was a Union soldier during the Civil War. And at war's end, he put into claim for a plot of land using the Homestead Act of 1860. And he was granted a claim in 1870 on the land that you see here. Interestingly enough, he remembers this land during the time of the war. They had crossed it and thought to himself at that time that, gosh, it would be nice to own some property here. The land was beautiful. Now, for the Homestead Act, in order to get a deed for 160 acres of land, you had to reside there for 5 years continuously, build a dwelling of at least 12 foot by 14 foot, and showed progress toward westward expansion. Man, I'm having problems with words today. So he did this by raising horses, cattle, and chicken. He also plowed the ground to produce the food to sustain his family and the livestock. So he did this, and then in 1876, right after the nation's centennial celebration in July, he received a deed for this property of 160 acres, and it's been in our family ever since. Now, my grandpa, he passed away in 1910 at the age of 70 years old, and he worked it right up to the end, and it was finally the winter got him, got pneumonia, and it took him out, but they were 70 very hard years. My dad himself turns 60 next year, and me, I'm the ripe old age of 30. Now, we've all heard of the stock market crash of 1929 and what it did to the nation. It led to the Great Depression. Most of the population was put out of work and in financial ruin, but many didn't understand the plight of the farmers and homesteaders. Farmer works very hard to produce. Sorry, I'm checking something. All right. A farmer works very hard to produce the crops and the products that he produces to the market. But what if there is no market for what he's producing? That's where the problem comes in. You see, in the 1920s, the wheat market was a sure way to turn bare ground into a cash crop. All you needed was a plow, a couple draft horses, and a few bags of seeds. After all, you have 160 acres to put down crops. At harvest time, you could hire a team to come in with a harvester and a thrasher to bring in your crop and share a bit of the profits with the team that came in. But it's all profit from there on. And in fact, in the right conditions, the right soil, in the right place, you could actually get 2 crops in per year. This is the main house. It's not very big. It's bigger than the 12 by 14. You see chickens over there. There's our garden. That house over there is for some of the hired hands. We have a little tiny, I guess a logging mill or whatever. We log stuff here. In our garage. And that big behemoth you see there, that's Grandpa's steam engine that he acquired right around the turn of the century. I think it was 04, I think. Him and a bunch of the farmers in the area, they kind of went together and built a cooperative. And that steam engine has plowed many of the land around this area. This is the workshop area for our hired mechanic, engineer, you name it, he does it. His name is Dutch, and he is worth his weight in gold. There's our newest purchase, was this pickup truck. Bought it a couple months ago. It's nearly brand new, and it helps out a lot to getting our product into town. Yeah. Speed up the horse here. There you go, buddy. There's the garage in the background there. And this is our lake. It's creek fed. We built a water pump here. Pump water out. We have a windmill for pumping, and we also have a gasoline engine there. We can pump things out. We'll pump the water out. I believe we have a total of 7 fields that we work. There's one there. There's one up on top of the hill. 2 in that direction, and 3 in that direction. Of the 160 acres that we originally had, we are down to about 100. The depression took its toll on us as well. We had to sell a good portion of the homestead in order to stop the banks from foreclosing. And it was like that with a lot of the farmers in the area. So, hang on a second. I'm going to get off here. Open up the gate. You guys stay there. Let's get you in here. You'll get your turn. Giving the horses a little bit of exercise. Stay. And these guys are walking away. You don't want to go for a walk? All right then. All right. As I was saying, what was I saying? I forgot where I was. Oh, we're back in the Depression. Okay, so a lot of the farmers in the area completely lost their land. Um, some moved out west. That was a big push to go out west. Some of them actually lost their farm and came here. There's quite a few families in these shanties over here that had nowhere to go, no way to feed their families, and so they came over to the ranch and helped us out in exchange for food and shelter. So we help out in that manner. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break here. I'll be right back. I'm gonna check on something. Plenty of wood in there. See, the ladies are in there making bread right now. So every day, the ladies get together and they make, I don't know how many loaves of bread. Sometimes cookies, but mostly bread. And then they'll bring them out and they'll distribute them out here to whoever needs them, because it's 1935 and we're coming out of the Depression, but it is by no means over. We're still facing the hardships. We're losing money every month, but not as much as we used to. This is just one of the shanties here. They got a wood burning stove, table, and a bed or two, and that's about what you get here. We do have power. The town put in a power plant that's south of here, and we ran the power poles down here, so we do have lights and electricity, which is a lot more than some right now. This area, the people that live in these shacks get together usually every night and sit around the fire. Kids play over there. Yeah, it's shanties. All right, now back to the story of the crops. At one point, like I said, the cattle industry and the wheat industry was booming, and there was well, it was the roaring 20s, and everything was good. And then after the stock market crashed, um, everything changed. When the stock market crashed, the wheat market fell through the floor so fast that much of the crops that the farmers had planted was just left in the field. It wasn't even bothered to be harvested because it was basically worthless. Um, and what's worse is by doing that, they and over the years, it was more profitable just to plow the previous crop under and replant right on top of it, and that took a toll on the topsoil. And its once rich topsoil full of nutrients became worthless to all concerned. Um, some of them, they turned to rotating the crops, as was recommended to corn. And if you, did that and, planted grass or rapeseed or something in between there, it helped maintain the nutrients of the soil. And some of them just was doing corn, because corn was pretty profitable at that time as well. But again, after the stock market crashed, nobody was buying. The market was gone. And in fact, at one point, it got to the point that coal was going up in price because it was limited, and the corn was going down, and it was cheaper just to burn your corn and your corn cobs right there in the furnace. This is our cattle barn. And then to top all that off, because of the topsoil condition and the weather turned, there were 6 years of very hard drought, and it stretched from Texas all the way up to Nebraska. Yeah, 6 years of drought, but it took its toll mostly on northern Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. But these cows are noisy. So all of that topsoil dried out and blew away, essentially. You've heard of the Dust Bowl of Oklahoma? Yeah, well, it basically took all of the topsoil of that region and blew it all over the nation. There were just absolute blackout clouds of dust. And all this happening to the farmers, many of them just gave up. They, they were, some of them were in that Homestead Act deal, and it was easier to give up the farm and move out west, because that's what everybody was saying. There's work out there, and that it just actually wasn't the case. There wasn't enough work to go around. The movie The Grapes of Wrath pretty much portray that. And like I said, a lot of them, they got together and they came together on ranches, much like this one. Because everybody working together, they were able to, sustain one ranch. And that's what we're looking at here. In fact, at one point during the 1930s, between the banks foreclosing and just everything else for the poor farmers, we lost 750,000 farms in the 1930s. So that leads us to where we are here right now. It's been tough. We're starting to climb out of it. I mean, we can see the profits are coming. We got crops in the fields. We have crops in the silo here. It's a lot of hard work, but we're gonna make it, folks. At one point we had over 200 head of cattle here, and I think we're right around 75, if I remember right. Probably should check on the milk while I'm here too. See how much milk I have. We should make a trip into town this afternoon. Okay, what else we got going on? Just outside of town over here, or outside of the ranch over here. Sky. I'm actually planting a field. In fact, let's just take the car over there. Hope that volume's not too much. This is my wrong gear. This is my Model A Ford. Aside from my truck, it's my main source of transportation. Began planting this field yesterday morning. We are getting down there on seeds. I'm going to have to go into town, in fact, get some more. Probably halfway across the field right now. Yeah, and this morning I went out and cut the grass around the field because it was so overgrown. This field had not even been plowed in, nearly a decade. It was just grown over with grass because during those tough years, we just couldn't maintain another field. So we began planting yesterday. I think a week ago we had the steam tractor out here and plowed this all out. But this is where we are now. Now this mod is the only one I have found that will actually let you do a horse team. And it's not great animation or anything like that, but it's going to be the closest thing we have to having a 2-horse hitch team. And I make do with it. And we do everything around the farm that we can with these guys, especially during the Depression. I mean, when heck, the price of, and the availability of gasoline was just unheard of. Kerosene was available, and we have a Waterloo Boy tractor that uses kerosene, and we were able to come by that, but it was so expensive and it drank so much that if we could do it by horse, that was the way to go. Okay, let's start planting here. I've got enough seed to get one more round up and back, and then we'll have to go get more. Bring this stuff up. It's really important you get this thing set on around 270-degree heading here, and it's really hard to keep the horses absolutely straight. I got the game set on the hardest settings there are. The economy's tough. There's stones, rocks, weeds. Yeah, I'm trying to set this game up as realistic as I can to 1935. All the equipment I have, I try, well, this trail lifter here, that one with the exception, because I couldn't find an older one than this. You'll notice there's no PTO, it's just the hydraulics, and what I'm pretending on this is that for the hydraulic deal to be lifted, either there would be a crank, but since there's hoses, I'm pretending there's like a hand pump on it, so we can raise and lower the implement as needed. But yeah, we'll get to the end here. And the actual sound of these horses sounds to me like it's more of a horse that's in a trailer being transported, but it is what it is. It's what we have, and that's what we use. Like I said, until somebody comes up with a better mod of animated horses and figures out how to make horse teams in this game, which isn't going to happen in FS22, because here it is November 2024, and FS25 comes out in just a few days. So people will stop working on mods on 22 and they're going to go to mods on 24. Okay. Bring up the heads-up display. I still have, no, I still have 45%. I'll probably just get it to the end. Alright. Drop it down, make sure it's overlapping a little bit. Get it set on 90 degrees. Close to it. There we go. And, yeah, there's no gap there. That should work. Now, I just set the game to 1 day or 1 month is 4 days, but that won't take effect until the following season, which is winter. So unfortunately, we're gonna have 4 days for every month during the winter time, which we'll just have to rush through, because there's not a lot of work to do when the ground is frozen. Hindsight 2020, I should have done that through the fall season here because of all the planting and harvesting that needs to be done. So what I'll do instead, like I'm doing right now, is just stop time and get the field work done and then start it again. There's just too much work to do for one person. Alright, to the end here. Pump it back up. And head back. I think I have like 4 bags of seeds left. And then we'll come back. That tractor there is Dutch's Frankenstein. It's a John Deere A. It's a fairly new tractor. It sure doesn't look like it, but he's added dual wheels, and it does have a hydraulic pump on it. So he got the option of having the 3-point in the back. Well, that wasn't enough for him. He wanted more, so he did a little more carburetor work, got a few more horsepower out of it, and put a 3-point on the front, and that was an undertaking, to get that done. But that's our workhorse on the farm. Well, aside from the big steam tractor, which we only get out when we absolutely have to, because while it's got a lot of power, it's a hassle to get fired up, and yeah, we use that primarily for plowing. Okay, let's see if we can get this in here and get it turned around for the horses. Get the horses turned around, and backed over there to the seat. Actually, I don't think I have to back in. I think I can get it close enough. Let's see if that'll do it. Yep, okay. Those last 4 bags of seeds there. And we're full. I think we're full. 80%. I think that'll get us 2 more rounds. The pallet disappeared, and so after that we're gonna have to go into town and get more seed. Now, it doesn't show third person in FS22. If it was, I'd be kind of standing there on that to operate this thing. But a lot of my other implements actually does have a seat for the horse-drawn. Finding a lot of these implements was really, really tough. I did a lot of searching. There's our gang plow that is pulled by the steam tractor. It's got 4 dual plows, so it's called a 4-bottom plow, but there's 8 rows total that it'll cut. Alright, any on up there, boys. So as far as what we need to do in the next week or so, we got to get this one in. I want to get it in today. And my soybeans will be ready either tomorrow or within the next couple of days. You have to get those out, and we have the harvester over there, and it's got a gasoline engine on it, and we'll use the horses in that regard as well, or in the harvest as well. Alright, boys. always get in here. Get in here and get lined up. Let the planter down, settle in. And away we go. It's pretty good. Beautiful day. It's 73 degrees out. And this would be like the third week in September. So fall colors would normally be coming up very soon. The region we're in, though, is very much an evergreen tropic. Lots of pine. Lots of pine. And it looks like we veered off course a little bit. The horse has crossed over the line. I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just check around. Come back the other way. Team turned around. Now, I'm not sure how long these episodes are going to be. Like I said, there's a lot of work to get done. A lot of information to pass along. I mean, you guys, some of you got a history lesson about the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl. Many of us already knew it. A little bit about myself. I've done a little farming myself, mostly in working for the seed corn companies. I did that in the 1980s. In the 1990s, I spent most of that time as a truck driver. So when I'm online, I play the series of the things I know. I drove a truck for many years. I farmed for many years, and I even went to school and got my pilot's license. So rest assured, some Microsoft Flight Simulator series will be coming out also. Yeah, my channel name is Crow Farm Gaming. I had some older videos from Farming Simulator 19, and that was one of the requests I got the most of is, could I please start another series of the old iron? So that's where I'm at now. That's what I'm looking at with this one. We're going to progress. I mean, right now it's Resurrection Ranch, 1935, but in 3 months it'll be 1936, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue progressing, and there will be different implements coming in the following year. And if I remember right, one of them next year is a hay baler, because we currently have no way of baling hay. So we're just we're bunching it up. We're using it's called, not a hay buck, but we're backing into the hay that we've put into rows and transporting it that way. why can't I think of the name of that? I'll come up with it, but I'm trying to concentrate on my horses and all this. Hoping I'm going to get down to the end here, and I'm going to have enough to get back. It's going to be close, I think, though. Then, like I said, it's going to take me a trip into town to buy another batch of seeds. I got 2 more fields, and well, I'm not sure what I'm going to plant yet. I've been thinking about it a lot, but I definitely want to get this wheat crop in, so it'll be ready to harvest in the spring. From there, I have another field. I was thinking about barley. I'm just not sure if I'm going to have enough time before the frost sets in to get it in, and enough slurry on the field for okay. I've got 21% left, 32 liters. Ugh. That's gonna be tough, and we are more than halfway through across the field, so I wasn't totally wrong on my thinking. I just came about half a pallet of seed off. I'll accept those. I'll accept that. Alright, get on up there, boys. So I think in the next episode I'm gonna come in, and we are gonna be harvesting my soybeans, because you guys have seen enough of this. You don't need to see any more of it, so I'll get to the end here and I'll probably end the video. And I would appreciate it if you gave me a like. I'd appreciate it even more if you enjoy this. Subscribe and you'll be notified the next time I do a video. And I think this is going to be a fun one. And I'm going to learn right alongside you, because this is a learning opportunity to try to figure out how to make ends meet with very old, limited equipment. I'm going to miss that. No, I'm actually getting that roller. Okay. And I have 5 liters left in the old hopper there. Ain't much, but it got me to the end. Yeah, you can just barely see there's anything left in there. Okay, folks. Thanks for spending this time with me. Like I said, like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next episode. Have a good day. Happy farming.